Hi, my name is Vanden Avond. Have you ever wondered what goes into building a home? Well, we're going to take you through every step of the way, from the initial dig to the family walking in the door. All right, welcome back today. We're here with Chris and myself, Matt Vanden Avond.
How's it going, Matt?
Well, how are you?
Pretty good.
So the flooring got put on, as we can see.
The subfloor is installed and in place.
All right, and just from looking at it, we've got a couple holes. I'm assuming I know what that is, but we've got a hole right in front of us. What is that for?
The hole that you see in the floor here, that's going to be part of the staircase for the house. That's right next to the front door where that plank is ramping up to the floor. That's where the front door is going to go. So you walk in the front door and you'll have a nice grand staircase.
Perfect. Now this one has two holes, and a common thing is to have a staircase coming right out of the garage.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a second hole, not the size of this one here, about half the size because it's a straight staircase coming in from the garage. So you can bring anything you want downstairs when you finish your basement, your lumber, your sheetrock, all that stuff. It's easy access.
Perfect. All right, let's talk about schedule and your schedule, how weather affects it, activities affect it. This is not a punch in at 9, leave at 5 type of job. What was your schedule this morning? How'd that all work out?
It is not a punch in at 9, leave at 5 type of job. For us, with what we do being carpenters, we're on site. We try to be here 8 to 10 hours a day. This morning, normal job site, we like to start at 7. We had scheduled for a golf outing yesterday that took up a little more time to have fun than it should have, and it spilled over into this morning and gave us a bit of a late start.
All right.
Weather affects it in the rain. I mean, just imagine.
So this is not also, if you guys wanted to start at 5 o'clock, just to get some stuff in, you can't really show up here and start pounding at 5 o'clock.
No, we cannot. There's noise ordinances.
And when does that start?
Most municipalities is 7 a.m. They don't want you making noise before that.
Okay.
City workers and other people that the city hire, they are exempt from that. They pretty much work whenever they want.
Well, like snow plowing or something like that, you can make noise, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how late can you work?
I think 10 p.m. You'd have to check with each local municipality. I'm sure they're all different. So
the morning's a little tighter.
Yep.
The evenings can pretty much go until, you can't get ridiculous with it, but
as late as the light lets you.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had times where sometimes you have to set trusses with some headlights on the trucks because we're running on a tight schedule.
Yeah.
You throw the lights on the machines and get everything out there so you can see while you're picking up at the end of the night.
Okay. As far as the long-term schedule of this home, there's usually a tight deadline, but this one really does have a tight stop deadline because of what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, there's a hard deadline for this house. All houses have a time frame and a deadline that you want to try and hit. The homeowners want to move in.
Yep.
In this case, this is going to be a showcase home for us in the Brown County Home Builders Association showcase of homes. So we have a hard date that it has to be done by. If we're not done by that date, we lose our fee that we paid to enter, and we don't get to put the home in the event.
Okay. And we'll get into that, I think, a little bit later, what that does, that whole thing. But that's giving you a hard deadline on this home to make sure that it's done.
It does.
And done and ready to show.
It absolutely does.
Yeah. Okay. All right, welcome back. So talking about schedules, this is about everything that goes on with them and a little bit of my schedule. So when mom's away, sometimes the boys got to come with. So, all right, so that's part of the schedule. So
definitely affects your schedule, right, Matt?
Yeah. Hopefully, this is not a usual thing for you with kids on the job site?
Well, the homeowners bring their kids on the job site from time to time. We encourage the homeowners to come out and
But they're not wielding hammers or anything.
No, not wielding hammers. Sean has had his son Elvis out on the job site a couple times.
Okay.
Actually, Sean and Scott helped him walk on the roof once, and that was pretty fun and interesting.
Well,
Mama had a heart attack, I think.
yeah. Well, it's good to bring them out and see what they do. So, but we came over here to talk about the, like you said, there was just a big piece of concrete here in a hole, and what happened since then?
Now we are what would be called backfilled. All the trenches around the foundation of the home have been filled in. The area that we're standing in now was a big hole for the front porch. It now is filled in. We filled this in with sand. Sand is a good product to be laying under concrete. It settles nicely and you don't get a lot of air pockets in it.
Okay.
But everything's filled in now. The house is pretty much at the grade that it's going to be at. The yard looks close to the shape that it's going to be when the house is complete.
Yep. All right. Good afternoon, Chris.
Afternoon, Matt.
All right, we're back for another episode of The Build, and since we've been gone, the walls went up.
They sure did.
And so, first of all, where do you build them? Do you build them off-site or here?
We build these walls on site. The exterior walls we build right on the floor, and then we sheet those and stand them up in place.
Okay, so these are literally just boards hanging out, and you put it all here and put them up, and looks like a house.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll go through and we'll pick the lumber. By picking, I mean we will look at every single 2x4 and every single 2x6 that gets delivered to the site. Make sure it's good quality, not cracked, not split.
So, my little man Tom was helping your guy look through the boards and discard them. What do you do with the discarded boards?
The discarded boards we'll take and we'll set aside and we'll put those off site. A lot of times we use the discarded boards for shorter pieces, like for our window framing, to up frame the window to the windowsill or to down frame from the header. Whatever ones we don't use up, we send back to the lumberyard and they do whatever they want to with them. Sometimes we get returned lumber on site, and usually we just turn it around and send it right back.
All right.
It's the truth.
Yep, no, I understand. All right, so we got the boards up, and give me a little, throw some knowledge at me on these headers here. What are we doing with them?
Oh, when we build an exterior wall, we have to put headers above the windows to support the weight of the roof above it.
Okay.
We build the headers per plan. The house plan will call out what the headers are, whether it's a 2x10 or a 2x12. Usually it's 2 plies of 2x10 or 2x12 nailed together, so you have 2 boards nailed together like this, and then that goes up in the wall just like you see here.
So the headers are kind of that takes some strategy and takes some planning. I mean, that's probably why I can't build houses. I mean, if you're just doing some squares and putting them in like that, I might be able to throw some nails together, but you got to put some thought into where the headers are going, how far, what they are, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, that usually comes in with the plan design. When the architect goes through the plan and does the designing, usually their programs have some sort of mathematics in it.
But as far as cutting it and making sure that it's in the right place.
Yep, absolutely. You have to be able to read the plan, see where the window is going to be placed, and that's going to tell you where the headers have to be positioned. How many supporting studs have to be underneath the header to help hold that weight up.
All right. Speaking of amateurs, I was talking to Scott before this. Now, he was doing something with the line or the chalk line up above. What was he doing there?
After we have all the walls up in the air like we have here, we want to make sure everything's level and straight before we start to put the roof trusses on top of it. So what he was doing is taking a string line and running it around in a grid type of pattern around the house, so then we can go from one end to the next and make sure the wall is in a straight line with the string.
Okay.
Because he pulled that string in a straight line, we will then go and check it in certain spots on the walls, like where you see the brace right behind you.
Yep. Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way to see the quality, how good the quality of the builder is by looking at the straightness of the walls.
Absolutely. That is a good way to tell the quality of the framing job on a home. That's not necessarily going to be the quality of the builder, but the framing job, the framer, we are the framers and we are the builder, so that's what
So we
makes
might
us
have to
a
do
little
another
bit
episode
different.
on that, on what specifically you guys do and how you're very good at your job and what you guys do.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
we're carpenters and we love doing what we do.
Okay.
But the framing of the house, the walls will tell the story. If you're not checking through the material, the wall's going to have a wave in it. And now the people that follow us up are going to see that. And then in the finished product, when your cabinets are hung and your trim molding on the floor is put in place, you're going to see the waviness in the wall. And that's going to tell you about the quality of the material that was put into the home.
So once the roof's on, it's pretty much a done deal as far as where the wall is.
For the most part, if there's some minor changes a homeowner wants to make, say an interior wall wants to be moved 6 inches this way or that way, that can be done, because usually the interior walls don't bear any weight.
Yep. Okay. All right. Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, we're standing in front of the roof trusses. Are those important at all?
They're very important.
Why is that?
This is what's going to shape the roof of the home. It's going to show us the peaks, the valleys,
Yep.
everywhere that it's going to really make the shape of the house.
So you can have, what are they called, gables? You know, you can have stuff sticking out. I'm assuming there's a cost to having more stuff sticking out different angles in your house. What goes on with that?
The more angles you have, the more money you're going to spend.
Okay.
A old school traditional house, the 80s ranches, people would consider those straight gables. That's a very cost effective way to build a house. A straight gable, what that means is you basically have one roof line.
Yep.
That goes across the whole house, and that's it. Houses today are a lot more complex, where you have gables on the sides, gables to the front, so now you have other things that have to get done to tie it all together. So with engineering and technology and the programs that they have in the truss companies, they're able to design just about anything you can dream of.
I have a 120-year-old house down in Madison, and the roof is literally made of 2x6s, like 18-foot, 20-foot 2x6s. It's just going up.
Yep.
I'm guessing they've improved the strength in the past 100 years.
Substantially, yeah. A lot of the older houses were made with steeper roofs when you're talking back 80 years old and more.
Yep.
Because then they're not holding as much snow load on them, so they don't need to hold as much weight, so they could be made with a lesser material, like a 2x6, without anything supporting underneath.
Okay.
The roof trusses now are made out of mostly 2x4 material. If you're looking at having like storage room, then you're going to have a lot of 2x6 in there. If you want to have a bonus room, then they're going to go up to 2x12s. When I say bonus room, that's usually a finished room above the garage.
Do you need more insulation at some point for those, or is the insulation, how's the insulation go with all the dips and curves and everything?
With all the dips and curves, we just send the insulator up there and he just crawls around.
The insulation goes right on top of the ceiling?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right. So like a bonus room, does that need any insulation in between up there?
Yeah, when we finish a bonus room in a house, usually the ceiling cord or the ceiling of the bonus room is right under the roof. So then we'll have that insulated properly with the insulation company.
Okay.
The walls get insulated, and then because it's above a garage, which usually isn't a conditioned space, so then the floor gets insulated as well.
It's pretty hot today.
It's pretty warm.
What's the hydration plan here?
I bring 2 gallons of water on site every day for myself.
Everyone's got their own stuff?
Everyone brings their own water. Not everyone drinks the same amount. Try to stay hydrated. If you get overheated, go take a break in the sun. Last thing you want is someone passing out on site.
So you're not overstaffed here. You got the right amount of guys to do the job.
We are not overstaffed. We have the right number of people to do the job. That's definitely the correct statement. Yeah.
All right, we'll have to get into a little bit more of that in a different episode on where you're at and where builders are at right now.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thanks,
we'll see you again. To see the process unfold, follow us on Facebook at The Build or look for us on YouTube.